Hello my scrappy friends, and a big welcome to my channel today. This share is for Cut to You, and I have something a little bit different. I actually created this in March for someone as a birthday gift. She is a quilter, and I took inspiration from her craft and used that in my craft. I'm using the Let's Get Crafty cut file, which was a freebie for International Scrapbooking Day, but you can find over in the Etsy store. So I'll make sure I leave a link to that below. But I really love how this turned out. So the first thing I'm doing here is I've got some smooth white cardstock that I am painting with a paintbrush some Mink Reactive Mist. I decided I wanted holographic blades on my scissors, so I'm going to make my own foiled paper. I've pulled out an older collection, but one I absolutely love. I love all the bright colours in it. This is Chamel's True Stories collection, and this is the paper pad. I have the 6x6 paper pad. I've used it so much. I don't have a lot left, so you can see I've used it for a lot of Project Life spreads. So that's why I've got those 2-inch strips. I'm cutting 1-inch squares. It's not a very exciting thing to watch, so I don't make you watch it. And then I am randomly sticking all my squares to this piece of scrap green cardstock. I'm using a frame from IKEA for this, and the inside of the frame is about 9 inches square. You can see I've jumped forward, I've stuck all my little squares down, and then I've used my sewing machine and stitched on all of the vertical and horizontal lines with white thread and a zigzag stitch. Like I said, I was taking some inspiration from my sister-in-law's craft, which is quilting. I thought it would be a fun way of doing something different and unique for her birthday. So I have got it all sewed in place, and then I'm going to stick this to another piece of scrap cardstock just to keep that stitching exactly where I want it. I didn't want to risk any of it coming up or moving because I didn't do any back stitching anyway. So I'm cutting this, I think I cut it about 8.5 by 8.5, I can't really remember. And I'm just going to take off that backing paper off my, what's it called? And stick that other piece on. This is the insert that came with the frame that I decided I would add in to bulk it up enough that it fills the frame properly. And that is my background done. I don't even add splatters. I wanted the pattern of my paper quilt pattern to stand out, so I'm going to back my little love heart in the middle of that crafty word with some pink pattern paper from the same collection. Then I have used my Cameo to cut the inside letters on vellum. This mat that I'm using is a low tack mat, which is perfect for vellum and those kinds of papers. You can see I'm just adding a little tiny bit, little dots of wet glue, and I'm going to stick my cut file to the vellum. I chose vellum, like I said, I wanted to be able to see all of that pattern in the background, and I knew that the vellum would be see-through enough to see the pattern, but without the vellum you couldn't really read the words. And that is my cut file all backed. Just using a, I can't remember if it was, I'm guessing it was a baby wipe, to clean up that cut file, get rid of any extra glue. Checking my placement, I'm going to use some, now I pulled out my white foam because I didn't want to risk seeing any of it, but my white foam doesn't have a sticky back, so I have gone meticulously around all of the outside of that cut file, and I'm going to use my glue to stick that down. I've got the frame there on the left hand side, making sure that's nice and straight. I'm going to add some weight to this and pop it to the side while I work on my scissors. So I've cut this at the same time as I cut my title, and you can see here this is the bit of cardstock that I had painted earlier with the mink mist, and I'm just cutting some holographic foil to the right size. Now, who wouldn't love a pair of holographic pink handled craft scissors. Seriously. So I'm just going to pop that through. I love watching the magic of this. That's why I've left it in. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but it's not very long. And so I have that whole piece of paper that is minked with holographic foil. It is so cool. There you go. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to use the offcuts from the cut to outline and cut my inside pieces. And I don't make you watch all of this, but I do. I think I just make you watch me glue the blades on. Really simple shapes to cut around. I love how these scissors turn out. It's so cool. I'm just going to use my tape roller to glue these together. And again, I don't make you watch all of this. I think I just glue on both of the blades and then I skip forward. And then we're almost done. This was a really fun project to put together, and I love that I was able to incorporate some of my sister-in-law's craft into a gift I made for her. So my scissors are all backed, and you can see I've used the pink and the holographic foil. And that is the finished project. I love it. I'm really, really happy with it. My sister-in-law was super happy with it as well. Yeah, it was fun to do something different, and I love this cut file. It's so versatile. Let's get crafty. It doesn't mean you have to play with paper. It can be whatever you want. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I'll leave links to everything below. As always, thank you ever so much for stopping by. Make sure you head over to the Cut to You Etsy store, and I will see you again for another process video very soon. Thanks for stopping by.